Good morning, everyone. It's Darlene from Couture. Gonna work on these fun little seed packets today. These are pieces of wood that are cut, and I base coated them with a craft paint. I actually used a really cheap craft paint from Michael's. It's called Craft Smart. And I took a Clorox wipe and wiped on the paint, just really thin coat, and then I sanded it, and then I put a coat of wax, which I just barely put any on the rag, and I wipe, and then I wipe off all the excess, and I take a paper towel and go over it again and wipe off all of the excess. You just want a very thin coat, so it's a little bit slick, but it's gonna stick still. You want your transfers to be able to stick to this. And these are our seed packet transfers. They're 3 layers. So you have the bottom layer is white. So all of these will be white. And then it's numbered. This is numbered in the corner. It says number 1. That's your first step. We're gonna use bright white. And then this is number 2. This will be our color. So our color on each one, we have for the peas, we have our radishes, we have carrots, and we have our sweet onions. And then our last layer is black to do all the detail. First, I'm gonna go ahead and peel the transfer off the backer sheet. These are silkscreen transfers and they're reusable. The back side of the transfer sheet, the backer sheet, I have put an X. You wanna make sure you put the transfer back onto the shiny side after you've washed it. We're gonna center these on here as best as we can. I know it may not be perfect, and we're gonna use this transfer 4 times in a row, so that will be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we'll be fine. It has been used a lot. It still has a lot of sticky on it. All you're gonna do is you're gonna press it down, and then I have all my chalk paste ready. I opened up all of my chalk paste jars and stirred them. If they were too thick, I added just a little bit of water. You can take a spray bottle and spritz a little bit of water into it and then stir it. You want it the consistency of sour cream or yogurt. If it's too thick, then it is not going to work. You need to make sure that it's thin enough. I'm going to take a squeegee. These are rubber squeegees, and I'm going to spread it throughout the transfer. And then I am going to remove all the excess because you don't need any extra on the top. That can go back into my jar. I'll reuse it on the next one. Gonna pull my transfer and move to the next one. So I'm gonna do this 4 times. Gonna get all of my seed packet, the back part done, and then we'll go on with all of the detail. And I have a water bath ready so that I can put this into a water bath. You always want to make sure that you wash your transfers right away. Don't let the chalk paste dry on them. Need just a little bit more. I was trying to get exactly, it's kind of hard to do that. And I'm hearing some movement with my transfer. There might be a little bit of bleeding underneath, but this is actually the color on the next layer will cover up any of that. So I'm not worried about that. Just simply gonna do the best that I can. Pressing down, it's hard when you've used it already to get it all pressed down, and wanna make sure that there's all the air bubbles are out. Your fingers are gonna get all messy. Have a paper towel or a Clorox wipe next to you. I'm gonna take some of the chalk paste and put it onto my surface and then spread it with my squeegee. I kind of, on this one, I'm spreading it and scraping at the same time. So you will learn that technique, that basically you're pushing it down through the transfer and scraping at the same time. It just makes it easier. It goes faster. You want to work quickly when you are using a transfer several times, and this is probably the max. 4 times in a row is kind of pushing it, but I'm making it work. And another thing that I'm doing, because it's not adhering as well, I'm holding it right here. So when I'm pulling this, I'm holding it so it doesn't move. This transfer has been used many, many times. They are reusable, but there does get to be a point where the sticky isn't as sticky anymore. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I'm going to pull my transfer and put this into a water bath. Wiping my fingers a little bit, getting some of that off of my fingers so I don't get it onto my board. Okay, we're going to dry this. I'm using a heat gun. This is a Uline industrial heat gun. You want to continually move it. You don't want to bubble up your chalk paste. And it will dry really quickly. So then you want to take it back down to room temperature. I have it just on air. You don't want your surface that you're working on to be hot. You don't want to put your next transfer down onto a hot surface. If you don't have a heat gun, just walk away and come back. In about 15 minutes, they'll dry. They will dry really quickly. This next surface is going, or the next transfer is going down onto chalk paste. So we want to fuzz that. We're going to fuzz it a couple of times so that it doesn't pull up the layer below. I generally do 6. And I can also take my rag this is the rag that I use to put the wax on. So it just has some residual wax on there. If I wipe over that, it's going to help it release so that the chalk paste doesn't pull up the other layer. Well, when I pull the transfer, so it doesn't pull up the other layer. I am just trying to center this over my area that's underneath. And then I'm going to press this down, get all of my air bubbles out. And that's the wrong layer. Okay, don't do that. Read. This says 3. All right, let's try this again. I'm glad I realized that. This is our last layer. The last layer is in black. All right. Woo! Oh, I've made that mistake before. People that watch me know I have made that mistake before. And there are little registration marks. I don't use the registration marks. I'm going to take a tiny piece of blue painter's tape so I don't have to do that cleanup. And I am simply going to put this over those registration marks. I like to just line mine up. I can't see the registration marks through it, so I don't use them. And all I end up doing is having to clean it up. We're going to do our carrots. Carrots are next. The way that you can figure this out, if it did not have a number, it's what is the biggest open area. So this was the biggest open area there. This is the next, and then these have all the little details. So the details would go last. That is an easy way to know how that all works. I'm going to put this on the top again, once again, covering up the little registration marks. Got our radishes ready. Radishes are going to be our colors. Okay, we have garden herb is our green. Candy apple red is our red. Our orange is orange peel, and our yellow is buttermilk. Okay, had to think for a second. Our yellow for our onions is buttermilk. I want to make sure I do this right. Okay, that's not quite on there where it needs to be. And I didn't fuzz these guys. I think it's going to be okay though. I fuzzed all the others. Well, I fuzzed this one and then well, actually, I fuzzed the detailed one. I think these will be fine. I've used them before. I think they're going to release just fine. I don't think they're going to pull up any of the white. All right, I'm going to start with our garden herb. And I am getting these ready for it's a little bit thick. I'm going to add just a little bit of water and stir it. Getting these ready for a garden craft show, garden themed craft show that I am doing in a couple weekends. It's coming up on the 27th. I'm going to be joining a few of my other friends in a big booth and only going to have finished product. And put this down here. I have my squeegees ready. Right here I have my little squeegees. I have different sizes. You could use any of them that you want to. Whatever works for you. Some of them are the older ones that Couture doesn't make anymore. Right now they basically have 4 different ones. So they have the multi-tool, which is what I'm using in the black. They have the mini, which are the tiny ones that are really great for small areas or to put in kits. And then they have the small, which is, I think this is what the small one is now. And then they have, and these are old, these are the older style. They have the handled squeegee, which is a 4-inch handled squeegee. I'm going to pull this and hopefully it's not going to pull off any of my white. Okay, perfect. That is exactly what we wanted. I'm going to take off my little pieces of blue painter's tape. I don't like to put those into the water. And this is going into my water bath. I'm going to kick stuff probably. I knocked into things. I have a bunch of different things from my craft show from this last weekend. I have some frames that I need to cut boards for. Some old repurposed frames that a guy was selling, and they're really awesome. This one is a great color. I love this blue. So this will be really fun, and it was $5. $5, how about that? Already painted. I'll just cut a piece of wood, paint it with chalkboard paint or white paint, and do a cute design on it. Probably one of the floral bouquets. I think that would be nice. One of our new designs. It's really hard when you are a crafter. Everywhere you go, you see things that you can use to make projects with. Sometimes I just have to really show restraint and say, no, I can't do it. Okay, this up here, that is that way on the transfer. That is not a mistake. It is actually, there's a little area and it's supposed to be that way. Gonna take off that blue painter's tape. I'm gonna put these into my water bath. These take a lot of effort because of all the layers, but really it's really rewarding. I like making them. I think they'll sell. I'm gonna put wire at the top and just really thin wire, kind of curly, and hang them by that. I think they'll be fun. You never know what people are gonna buy. You need to have a wide variety. When you're doing a craft show, you need to have a lot more than you think you'll sell. Don't ever think you're gonna go there and sell out. It rarely happens. I have had that happen when I first started, when I didn't have a lot of inventory. This is my 31st year doing craft shows. I am not a beginner. Couture is new for me, but I have been a crafter for many, many moons. And at this point, I've made every mistake. I've tried many, many different types of crafts, and I really love wood. I go back to wood. That is my love. Oops. Taking off that blue painter's tape. I'm gonna put this into my water bath. All right, this is buttermilk. This one is getting low. I pulled a jar when I packed up my craft show. I tried to think of the ones that I was getting low on so that I could pull some of the jars, because I've done a lot. I do a live every morning, and I try to do a YouTube tutorial like this one every day. Then I speed it up and I put it on Instagram. So I'm posting on 3 different social medias every day. I'm at least doing my live every day. And then as far as the other things, I really try to get my tutorials done, because it's important to me to have those full-length tutorials. Some people don't have Facebook, but they go on and they watch YouTube. So I have tried to have different ways for people to learn. I have many different customers. Yay. All right, so the black is going to make it pop. The black is what is going to make you go, oh, look at that. And I feel that way every time that I pull a transfer. I'm gonna dry this really quickly. And it does dry really quickly. You can see it changing color. You want to keep your heat gun moving. Now I'm going to turn it just to air. So I'm taking it back down to room temperature so that the boards are not hot. And then I always feel them. Do not want to put your transfer onto a hot surface. You want to make sure that you are putting it onto a surface that is cooled down. If you put it onto a hot surface, you will heat up the sticky and it will get damaged. It will stick to your board. We're going to start putting these on here. They're going onto another surface that has been, they're going onto the surface that has chalk paste on it. I'm taking my rag that I had waxed with. I'm just quickly wiping it over there. There is no wax on this. This is the wax that I wiped off. So it has residual wax on the rag. I did not put additional wax on it. I'm using my old rag that I had wiped these with. I'm seeing little fuzzies here and there. Oh my goodness. All right. That will just help it release so that it does not stick. But I am going to go ahead and fuzz these. I am going to remember to do that. Don't want to have it stick and ruin our project at the very end. Do this 6 times if I can count right. And then I'm going to line this up. I did not use my registration marks because I like to just line it up. It's easy to do. You can see through it. And then I'm going to press this down. There are registration marks right here. I'm going to use my blue painter's tape again, like we did before, and I'm going to cover those up so that I don't have to clean black chalk paste off. It will just make my life easier. Takes only a second to do that. This is our radishes. This is the one that I almost put on there wrong. Or maybe it was this, oh, it was the peas, but I grabbed the wrong one. You always want to make sure you're doing it in the right order. Think backwards. So think your first layer. What is the back layer? Just like if you were painting, if you're doing tulle painting, you would base coat. So My back layer was the white. Just trying to match this up the best that I can so that it will look really nice. I can see through it. Trying to get the best lineup. It doesn't always line up perfectly. I'll tell you that. Don't be discouraged. It sometimes is just that way. Not all of our transfers are absolutely perfect. When you pull it off of the sheet, it can stretch a little bit, and that can cause it to be imperfect, or it could be printed just slightly off. Don't worry, it will still be fine. Don't stress over things like that. My dad always told me, don't sweat the small stuff, okay? And that's just a tiny, small thing. So we're not gonna worry about that. We're gonna get this fuzz. I actually had already fuzzed this, so it probably would have been fine. Gonna line this up with my colors below the best that I can, and then I'm gonna press. So you're pressing the air bubbles out. You're making sure that it's adhering to your surface so that your chalk paste will not go below. You don't want to have it seep underneath. I'm putting this over my registration mark so that I don't have little X's up in the corners. Don't want to have to clean that up, but I could just take a Q-tip and wipe it off. If you forget to do that, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Fuzzing this 6 times. You can use a towel, you can use your t-shirt. You do not have to have this fuzzing towel. It was really nice when they came out with them, and they're really pretty, but they are not necessary. You do not have to have them. It was just a convenience for us. We can offer it to our customers. We can take it to our make and takes and have all of our fuzzing towels be consistent instead of old towels. But don't feel like you have to have it. You don't. If you can't get it in the beginning, don't worry. Don't even stress. All right, so I'm done with my blue painter's tape. Gonna put that back over here, and our last layer is all in black. So this will be easy. I can see that I kind of got this one a little bit sideways. That's when you can see it at the end, but it's gonna be fine. No one's gonna stress over that, so I'm not either. Our customers will love them regardless of how perfect or imperfect they are. That is the great thing about handcrafted items. They are all different. They're supposed to be. It would be pretty boring if we all made exactly the same things. They all turn out just a little bit different unless you were to get a kit and did it exactly like they show on the tutorials, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I have no fear of going to a craft show and having 2 other people have chalk couture signs. They're not going to be just like mine. They're not. They're all going to be a little bit different. I'm going to pull this and make sure that everything looks good. Perfect. And the letters there, that is exactly how the letters are. That's the great thing about the silkscreen, is that you can have these awesome letters. It's not just an open filled area like you would have with this stencil. And I'm going to put this into my water bath, get all this chalk paste off. These are going to be cute. I'm going to put wire, and then I'll just hang them. They're going to be really fun. I almost grabbed the orange because carrots are orange, you know. That would be sad. That one I'd have to scrap. Nothing new about that. In all my years of crafting, I have done big boo-boos. I have had to toss things. I didn't stress over it. Mistakes are going to happen. I always try to fix it because I don't like to waste materials, but you know what? Life sometimes is that way. Sometimes things just do have to go into the trash, and you have to just let it go, not worry about it. Life can be that way sometimes. All right, awesome. See all the little detail? How fun is that? I'm gonna take my blue painter's tape off. The reason I don't like to put it into the water bath is because it starts releasing the sticky, and I don't want sticky on top of my transfer. How do I know that? Because I learned the hard way. I left it on, and then the top of my transfer was sticky, and I had to clean to get it to come off. So the way around that is remove it before you put it into your water bath. You learn. We learn the hard way sometimes. We learn by having to do extra work, and then we think the next time, hey, I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to do it the easy way. I'm going to teach people the right way, and then they can decide if you it's not going to destroy the transfer. It's simply going to leave sticky on the top. It's going to be a pain. You're going to go to extra work, and you're going to say, why did I do that? So, aw, I love the radishes. How awesome is that? These are so fun. I have to tell you, I enjoy this. I really do. I don't know if you guys enjoy watching, but I enjoy making. So hopefully people actually learn from this. You learn the layers. This is something that you have to learn how to do, because I know you guys all want to do the antique truck, and that's layers. I should do that soon too. I should start doing my 4th of July stuff. It's not too early for that. In fact, I could do a truck, a 4th of July truck, and put flowers in it that were red, white, and blue. That would be cute. And then have fireworks up in the sky. I should do that, because then I tie it in with the flowers, and I can technically take it and put it in the booth. All right. And pull this last one. There's our sweet onions. Perfect. Yay. Getting the hang of this finally. Oh, I've made signs with this one several times because I just love it. I love all the colors. It's fun. I love all the texture. I love all the detail. So amazing. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to drill holes in these, and I'll put wire, and then I will post a picture with the video of the finished product so that you can see how these are going to look. If you have questions, or you want to join in the fun and learn how to craft and make money, or if you just want to craft for yourself or for gifts, leave me a message in the comments and I will get back with you, or you can private message me. My website will be on there also. You can always get a hold of me that way. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.